Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and today we're going to talk about whether or not Amber Heard's testimony is believable. So she's been presently this past week testifying in the defamation trial between her and her ex-husband, Johnny Depp. And so a lot of people are questioning her credibility because on the stand just recently, she started testifying and describing her relationship with him. And the beauty of the internet is right away somebody tracked down and said, wait a minute, I've heard this before. So it turns out that the testimony that she's giving is actually pretty much, I think, word for word what was said by Gwyneth Paltrow's character in the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley, which I think was probably 20 years ago or more. And so there's been mashups of the clip from the movie and what Amber Heard said. And it's pretty crazy to, hear what happened. So I'm going to go through the words here and we're all going to read them and then we'll play the clips and give some comments on it. Somebody read Amber Heard and then the other person read what was in...
I'll do the
I'll do Tom Ripley. I'll be the guy. And then somebody be Gwyneth Paltrow's character.
I'll do Amber Heard.
All right.
I just read it or?
Yeah.
The thing with Johnny, it's like the sun shines on you and it's glorious. And then he forgets you and it's very, very cold.
And so now Caroline's going to read Gwyneth Paltrow's exact lines from the movie.
The thing with Dickie, it's like the sun shines on you and it's glorious. And then he forgets you and it's very, very cold.
And then Matt Damon's character says, so I'm learning.
When you have his attention, you feel like you're the only person in the world. That's why everybody loves him so much.
And then Marge says, when you have his attention, you feel like you're the only person in the world. That's why everybody loves him so much.
Yikes.
Wow, that's insane. Like
Totally
reading
yikes.
the first half of the paragraph, you're like, okay, it's a little similar, but now the second half, it's actually word for word the verse. It's word for word. Like,
It's really sus.
It's painfully uncomfortable.
yeah.
Just looking at it, it's so obvious.
So we know that it's fake. And so now we're going to listen to Amber Heard actually read these words in the courtroom.
Like when I was around Johnny, I felt like the most beautiful person in the world. You know, it made me feel seen, it made me feel like $1 million. It felt like a dream. It felt like absolute magic. And then he...
So now we want to go back to talking?
Yeah. We just leave it there.
Or was
at
that the whole
section.
thing?
No, it's 51 seconds.
But it makes, if we want to interject at points.
And there'd be just no way to get a hold of him.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, how are you going to edit this?
Yeah, exactly. So we gotta stop. Like after, you know how there's some breaks in it after, you know how she says her like 10. Usually, they're taking different arguments. After when it switches to her new line, like a new thing, then we talk about it.
Really, Corey.
When I was around Johnny, I felt like the most beautiful person in the world. You know, it made me feel seen, it made me feel like $1 million.
So what did you guys think? Obviously, you heard and read what was actually said in the movie, what she said, but now you're listening to her words and the tone. Does it sound authentic, or does it sound like she's just a bad actress?
She's a terrible actress. She sounds like she's putting on a line right now. She's like, I feel like $1 million.
Yeah, and the way her delivery.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like,
her
girl,
tone
you're in a...
her tone and tempo and like rhythm of the voice is like that of acting itself.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be
rehearsed.
surprised if she's getting a bunch of other lines from other movies and just like, I don't know, compiling them.
Why would you take lines from movies? Like, that's where easily people can figure out where you got it from. It's like, especially word for word. I don't know. I think she's definitely trying to do her best job at trying to convince the juror, become authentic and like she's telling the truth, but she's just not doing a good job
She's
at that.
doing too much.
Also,
Yeah,
she's an
she's just
actress.
trying too hard. Like
Yeah.
she's,
Try hard.
it's just not authentic at all.
She's even adding in like unnatural stutters to make it seem like it's legit, but
Yeah.
no.
And the same head movements like you saw in the movie where
Yeah.
she's kind of like
She's like,
thinking, trying, like she's just thinking these up on the fly.
Yeah.
and the facial expression, she's like $1 million. Like,
Cool.
I mean, she is an actress.
You wonder what's going on in the mind of somebody like this to think, I'm going to go in court and have $50 million is writing, and I'm going to recite a couple of lines I saw in a movie that Gwyneth Paltrow did, and literally act out testimony that's just total made up BS. Because this is basically a he said, she said kind of trial here.
Well, you know what she's really doing though is actually insulting him when she says he made me feel like $1 million because she's suing for 50 million.
Oh,
Right.
she's suing for she countersued for 100 million.
100 million.
He
Oh.
sued her for 50 million.
So he only made her feel like $1 million, but she wants 100.
I don't think he's got it anymore, especially after all of his attorney's fees. Even if he wins, it's like I don't know how what her net worth is or anything. I don't think she's that wealthy of an actress.
Well, did you see the thing where she like supposedly had this huge donation set up? She's like, "Oh, I'm going to donate and do all this," and literally just did a minute fraction of the donation. I forget the specific dollar amounts, but it was like probably like 10 or 15% of what she actually said she was going to donate. And ironically enough, most of the donations didn't come from her. Like 100,000 of her donation was from Johnny Depp. So for her, it was like to some hospital in LA for dying children, and she just skimped out on it. Yeah, her character is obvious. She has no character, like moral thing.
And there'll still be dudes lining up to date her. The question
Ben
is,
chicks
would you
too.
date her even though she's hot? Would you still date her?
No, it's
No.
not worth it. It's not.
Mm.
The hotness
If I
does
was a
not outweigh
dude,
the
I
crazy.
wouldn't.
There's a ratio, and she's off the charts. She's a crazy. It's just not.
What's the crazy?
It's like the crazy hot ratio.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys seen that? The crazy hot ratio.
Oh
the
yeah,
hotter
that's
she
what it
is,
is.
the hotter she is, the crazier she is.
There's like that perfect balance. She's
Yeah.
not in the perfect balance zone.
Like really attractive, but a really cool personality. Because the hotter she is, the more warped her personality is.
If I was a guy, I would not deal with a girl like that. I mean,
Well, if you're a
no.
girl though, too, she's into girls. She, you know.
I'm not trying to play
What
a
if you
devil
were dating a guy that was also dating her?
that was also dating her.
Yeah. What
What?
if it was a famous guy? Who's one of your Hollywood crushes that you would love to date?
I honestly don't have any
Name
in
one.
particular that I know
Name
of.
one guy. If he asked you, I'd be like, ooh, because obviously we know Caroline's is Justin Bieber.
mhm.
Honestly, I don't really have a favorite in particular. I'm gonna be completely honest.
But if somebody famous asked you out, who would you like it to be?
I really don't know. Like,
Just
I just
one.
don't really have one in particular.
Johnny Depp.
No.
Johnny Depp. What if Johnny
No.
Depp asked you out? No. Brad Pitt.
Nah.
Who's the
Old
who's
Who's
Ric
the-
Flair.
Who's that? Wait, who's that again? Wait, where's he from?
He's like,
I think he's like in his 70s now.
yeah,
right?
he is.
But where's he from? What movie? Or
He's not really-
wherever?
He was a
More-
professional wrestler, Ric
Yeah.
Flair,
Or-
and now
oh,
he's,
he's a
all the
wrestler.
Panthers
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
now he's Mike Tyson's manager, I believe.
Ric Flair?
Yeah,
Is he really?
I think
I
so.
have no idea.
Listen, point is like, if the guy's a celebrity, I don't care because I don't want to be drunk
Somebody's
crazy.
rich and
I don't
famous.
really
You're
care.
like, ooh, he's handsome. I would date him.
Yeah, he's handsome and I would date him, but if he's a
But
crazy
pick one.
person,
Just pick any
no.
celebrity.
Like,
Any celebrity.
I don't have any, Corey. I don't
I-
know.
Thor.
So she's avoiding it.
Nah. No,
Thor.
I'm not avoiding it. I just don't know. I can't think of any.
Young Sheldon.
Wait, I just thought of one.
Okay, who?
All right. Despite the stuff that he has, that like the scandal that he has, young James Franco.
Young James Franco.
Particularly-
Who actually was dating Amber Heard.
Particularly young James Franco from Spider-Man, from the Tobey Maguire
I
version.
knew it.
Yeah.
Ah. When somebody says I don't know, they don't want to say.
No, I really didn't know, Corey.
Okay,
It just
so
came
the
off the top
young
of my head.
James Franco says, "Hey girl, but I'm kind of carrying on an affair with Johnny Depp's wife. Just don't tell anybody."
No.
Would you say I'm not going to date you?
Yes.
If the young James Franco is like, "Hey, I'm also seeing Amber Heard."
Yes.
You have to
I would
kind of
not
put up with that.
I
You
do
would
not want
pass?
to put up with that. I
You
would
wouldn't go
not
on a
want
date with
to.
him?
No.
No.
I don't believe that.
I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't.
Hearsay.
That's kind of-
this is
that's
all
suspect.
hearsay and speculation.
I doubt it.
There was a video of her walking her
Speculation.
dog, and she was like choking him, like lifting up the leash where his paws were off the ground. Did you see that?
I
She's a
haven't seen that.
The
psychopath.
paparazzi were like yelling at her. So
That's
she
not
did
the
it.
worst thing. Sometimes you have to do that, especially if you're training a dog to actually walk on the leash where they're not
No,
guiding.
she was like this, just
Uh,
holding it.
I mean, she probably more exaggerated, probably wasn't doing it right. But I don't like it when all the PETA animal people are like, "Oh my god, you're choking, hurting the dog." Sometimes that's how you train the dog.
It was a mini dog, and she was going like this.
Okay, maybe she was like that. That's
it
not
wasn't
good.
like a bulldog,
Yeah.
huge dog. It was like a little dog, and she was going like that. And the poor thing's paws were up in the air like this.
Yeah, his
Oh,
kids supposedly
boy.
didn't like her either. It's
Yeah.
one of the things he testified that Johnny Depp's kids
You should
did not
listen
like Amber Heard.
to pets and children when
Yep.
they say they don't like someone.
Dark energy. The actress. So we're gonna listen to another clip here, or the next piece.
Felt like a dream. It felt like absolute magic. And then he disappeared. And there'd be just no way to get a hold of him, no way to contact him.
So it's definitely interesting watching the video from the thing. How you see how when this emotional lines, how she looks over to the jury a lot, how she's just trying to convince everybody. She's literally putting on an act, and like
Yeah.
that's the jury's kind of like the camera.
You notice how her the side of her mouth kind of goes up like one way, like when she's talking.
She's
Does
trying
it-
to give it some character.
Yeah, it's like she's force acting.
It wasn't a straight flow
Yeah, I guess-
of the same words word for word. It was word for word, but it was broken up by other thoughts, which makes you wonder, was she just trying to remember the rest of her lines and buying time with other things?
She was stalling.
I wonder if she ever practiced for this role. You know, maybe she auditioned.
Well, she's 36, so this was. I mean, you look at Matt Damon; he looks like a kid in this movie. So
Well,
this was like 20-something years ago.
Well, to piggyback what you were saying, Chunky, I mean, in life, you're never prepared for any role in life. So, yeah,
Okay.
that
Well-
makes any sense.
So at the end of the day, I mean, the mindset of a woman to get on the stand and just act out something she saw in a movie is
What-
fucked up.
I
That's
wonder if
fucked
she was a
up.
candidate for this role at some point or something.
Well, she's 36, so that she would have been a teenager. If she's 36, so this was I think 99 that was made, so that's like 22 years ago. She would have been like 8 or 9 years old. But bottom line is she's acting out this movie and doing a bad job of it. So we got another little clip, and this is everybody was saying, "Oh, it looks like she was doing some cocaine in the courtroom, little booger sugar." And Mike had an interesting observation that, you know what, might be accurate. When I heard him describe what he thought it was, I think he's on point. So we'll play this, and then we'll get Mike's response. Here comes the money shot. Did that look like booger sugar, or was that
I feel like we
just
would have
wiping her
seen.
nose?
I feel like we would have seen some white powder, signs of white powder on her nose, or maybe some falling
I
off.
highly
You know-
doubt she's doing cocaine in the middle of a courtroom.
What,
when
what,
she's
what was it you
testifying.
said you thought it was?
Well,
Mike?
first of all, if she snuck a bump, she is the most serious professional because that was way too clean. It's not happening.
Where was she at the when the Oscars
Literally-
happened?
Oh. Oh.
She blew a snot rocket.
Yeah.
That was a snot rocket.
Man, it
Yeah, I
hurts.
agree.
The
That's just a
snot
snot
rocket heard
She's
round the
blowing her
world.
nose.
The internet's just really funny.
So the vote is, I think it's a snot rocket. I agree with you. I don't think she's snorting cocaine, even though it was all over Twitter earlier, and that's what people thought it was. What do you
I
guys
think
think?
people are just
I
messing
mean, like I
around.
said, like if there was actually cocaine, like there could have been some sign of white powder on her, or maybe some powder falling off if she's not really if she's not careful. So
we got no
yeah.
evidence of booger sugar.
She's
No
definitely not
evidence.
doing it on the testimony stand. Like on the stand, she's not like.
So the booger sugar is fake
Ooh.
news, and all it is a snot rocket. What do you think, Caroline?
The suspected
I have
sugar.
no
booger.
idea. I don't-
Snot rocket or booger sugar? What do you think?
She looks so suspicious. I don't know. Like, why is she looking around like that?
Think she's got something to hide.
Yeah.
She's probably anxious.
Yeah, she's completely lying under oath. I mean, I would be
Here it
anxious
is.
too.
Here it is once again.
Why does she hold it like that?
I feel like she's like sniffing it in, not even out.
All right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
She's trying to keep snot from dripping
she
off her nose.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
All right.
Well, I think that's enough of that.
Okay. So we, the jury, are going to render our verdict on the believability of Amber Heard or not. Would you find in favor of Johnny Depp being believable or Amber Heard being believable?
It's really hard to say considering they're both actors. But
But
I'm
really
leaning
not.
You're
more.
a jury. You're a
but-
jury. You gotta. What's your verdict?
I'm leaning more towards Johnny Depp.
So you believe Johnny Depp was the victim of domestic abuse by
Yes.
his crazy ex.
Yes.
But that's not what's on trial, though. So it really doesn't matter if she's the abuser, to be honest, because it's all about defamation.
But who's believable? Because that was.
Oh,
like-
okay. Yeah. In that case, yeah, obviously Johnny Depp is way more believable. Not even from their Amber Heard's or their own testimonies, the witness testimonies. Just seeing in the people, the all judge of characters. If all the whole story is all slanted this one way from all these multiple different people and perspectives, and that only Amber Heard is kind of going against that, I mean, it doesn't bode well for the truthfulness of her thing.
So who? So as a jury member, what do you? What,
I
what's
mean,
your verdict?
obviously,
Who do you find in favor of Johnny Depp or Amber Heard?
yeah, definitely Johnny Depp. I don't think
Johnny
that's
Depp.
much-
So we got
much of
2
a
for Johnny
question.
Depp.
But I feel like that's 95% of the people or comments I see is all for Johnny Depp. Most people are not on an Amber Heard side.
But again, we have to take into account they're both actors too. I don't want
I-
to overthink it
yeah,
too
that's
much.
not really.
But
Kind of,
But you're rendering a verdict.
Kind of overthinking
It's one or the
that.
other. You got to make a choice.
yeah.
You got to make an informed decision.
Definitely Johnny Depp.
So we have 3 members of the jury.
Well, the thing is, you're not supposed to be. If you want to bring in the whole acting thing, you're not supposed to be You're under oath. You're not supposed to be acting. So if if you
But
bring
how
into
do
the
they
acting,
know
Oath
if they're not
show-
acting or they are
you can never really
acting?
know, but you kind of can tell by reciting lines from a movie.
Yeah, but you can act and not recite lines from a movie. So, like, say if
I
you know
mean,
you're hiding
you-
something, you can act and pretend like
well,
you're
obviously,
you know.
but I mean, at the end of the day, they're under oath, and you could get very penalized and get some jail time for lying under oath. It's a really big thing. You're not supposed to lie under oath.
Yeah, how's
You're
that
No,
not
in trouble.
absolutely.
I was asking the counselor earlier, how could it not be perjury? I mean, she's obviously acting and saying things that are not authentic.
She's making it purely obvious. Like Chucky said, like obviously you're not supposed to lie or act or anything. But if let's just say
Does
like if
Amber
I'm
Heard have respect for the judicial system? Obviously not.
Yeah.
If she's perpetuating a fraud in the courtroom.
so let's just say if Johnny Depp were to like actually like act, this is my side of the story being like an overthinker. Like I'm pretty sure I'm like I said, like I lean more towards him. But if you're thinking in the overthinking aspect, like if he's really like if hypothetically speaking,
Well, this is
he
the
was
thing.
acting
Being
out,
on a jury, you got to render a verdict
Yeah.
one way or another.
I already rendered my
Okay.
verdict. I'm just overthinking
Okay, there's
this,
no waffling.
But
There's
But
no
the problem
waffling.
is,
but-
I'm not even just taking account their only account. The way I'm phrasing it is also from all the other witnesses as well. So they're not the professional actors.
no, of
That's
course.
the whole-
Amber
my whole
Turd,
point.
the meme that we discussed, that was hilarious. She fired her PR team after that because that was those are great memes though. Doc, what's your verdict?
It's obviously too early to tell, right? Because we don't have all the details. This is ongoing. But I hereby declare the whole situation pitiful. And I'm glad that my life is not on display like that.
Who do you
I
find in
agree.
favor of? Who you find in
That's-
favor of Johnny Depp or Amber Heard?
No, clearly in favor of Johnny Depp.
Well, I find as well in favor of Johnny Depp, and officially Amber Heard, she belongs in the streets. She's crazy. She's hot, but she's crazy. And I mean,
She
there'll
needs to take
still be
better care of
thirsty
herself.
dudes lining up to date her, thinking, I think I can work with this.
You know,
I think we can. We'll be great.
I can
together.
fix her.
I can fix her.
the satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb, but to someone who is starving, even that which is bitter seems sweet. Someone would have to be pretty dang thirsty.
She needs to take care of herself a little more.
Yeah. What was it? The psychologist analyzed her or something and said what was her disorder that she had?
Oh,
Borderline.
multiple
It was like borderline.
BPD, borderline personality.
Mm-hmm.
So these women are out there that you're like, wow, she's hot, she's successful, she's rich, she's dating these successful dudes. She's got to be a great chick. And then what's so interesting is just 2 years ago, like at the height of the Me Too stuff, and her saying that like the video that came out that made Johnny Depp look bad because he was drunk, he was losing his temper, slamming his cabinets, and they were breaking. And so all that gave the perception that Johnny Depp was an abusive guy. And so he lost, Disney fired him from Pirates of the Caribbean, and then Fantastic Beasts was that the other one?
Yeah, he was in, I think, the first movie, from what I can recall.
So he lost it cost him financially, and now you see the trial and you get to listen to him, listen to her, and what actually happened, the turd on the bed. Then you see the acting in court, and you're like, man, she's a nut.
Most people have a snapping point, they can be pushed and pushed and pushed, but at some point they take it out. And I believe that scene where he was slamming the cabinets, he was already in a weakened state because he was drinking or whatever he had in his system.
Yeah, I
that
think there were
week.
$500 bottles of wine or something like that.
So he was weak, and he snapped as most men eventually would.
The poking, the abuse.
But
like we discussed the
wasn't on
last
a
time,
person.
he enabled it because he stayed. He put up with it. He kept forgiving her. He kept hoping things were going to change. And a lot of men and women do that. They get in abusive relationships and they put up with it because they love the person. We make our decisions based on emotions, and then we use logic and reason to justify our decision. We've all stayed in relationships longer than we should have. I don't know anybody that hasn't.